What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another DevPro Duel video, and this time it is going to be on the Yosenju deck featuring Card of Demise. Now, Card of Demise itself as a card is incredibly ridiculous, and it's incredibly ludicrous that a card like this exists, because even though Konami tried to put any and all restrictions on it that made it like as potentially balanced as possible, it's still a completely ridiculous card because it says draw 3, and if anything, it's a more degenerate card than it could have ever been if they put it in the hands of combo decks, because the fact that it is not accessible to combo decks, it is only accessible to decks that are trying to win through very, very simple-minded effects, as well as floodgate and defensive card access. So I mean, it kind of is sort of a balancer card of the format, but it's still such an inherently powerful card that, I mean, I don't think this card should actually be in the game. But anyway, when the card was released in the TCG, I did a few videos on the Clickfort deck and a discussion video on what the Clickfort deck's position in the format could do going forward with addition of cards like Card of Demise. And I mentioned Yosenjus during those videos, and since then I've had quite a few people be like, yo, why don't you actually like show Yosenju some love? Why don't you give them like the time in the spotlight, eh? Like, you give me the cannolis. But no, I did actually plan on doing a Yosenju video, but I am actually going to have to revisit this video later in the week because as it stands, Shining Victories is still not legal at the time of me filming this video on DevPro, and I want to play Rippling Mirror Force in this deck because none of the other Mirror Forces are anywhere near as good as this one is, specifically for the Yosenju deck. But the sneak peek for the set has happened, but the actual set release has not, so I can't play in ranked for this video. So that might actually lead to some triggering later because I hate dealing with the DevPro unranked community. But ultimately, we will see how that goes. But anyway, the deck is extremely what I would consider very, very standard. You know, floodgates, searchable defensive cards, solemns. The only things that aren't actually what people might consider standard is the Yosenju Kodam as well as the Training Grounds. I feel like this card is just really good. It's a real shame that it doesn't have Yosenju in its name, or that Kama 3 can't search it, because Yosenju is not something that's in this card's name. If Kama 3 searched Yosen cards, would have been fine, or if this had Yosenju in its name, would have been fine. But either way, it kind of sucks that it's not accessible other than drawing it, but you do a lot of drawing in this deck, so it is actually more accessible because of Card of Demise. And Kodam, actually, if it comes up in the video, I'll explain it more in depth, but it actually has a really niche interaction with Card of Demise, whereas as soon as you can yard this to get additional searches off Yosen Training Ground, you ideally want to. That way, your Card of Demises have become more valuable later in the game, because you don't draw more monsters after you've already done your normal summon wave, and you don't have them stuck in your hand to be discarded, basically. But extra deck, almost nothing actually matters except Tiger King, Utopia, and Utopia the Lightning, and these are only here for Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries access for dealing with extra deck threats in the BA, Phantom Knight, and Draco Pal / Pendulum deck matchups. But other than that, that's all for discussion that I want to do for this video. A bit long on the discussion, but hey, might as well, right? Let's jump into whatever games I end up playing, shall we? Alright, so like I said before, not playing in ranked, so we could potentially be having an issue here. But I typically always blind first with this deck, specifically even though it is a battle deck. It does actually just, like, it does very well at, like, just trying to set up your floodgates first, because you can just do that, because this deck is just floodgate central, basically. What are you going to respond to my duality with? If you're playing Psyframes, I'm going to, like, shoot myself, because Psyframes is the one deck that I refuse to put on the channel any more than it already is, because all the games are incredibly technical. Why'd you leave? Okay, ignoring that last incident, let's try and actually play, because I'm already getting into the part where I just do not like the fact that I'm not in ranked, because people are ridiculous and degenerates. So, carry on, shall we? I'm just going to start getting counters on these. I'm going to set my warning, I'm going to activate my D-Fissure, and hope that I just auto-win because of D-Fissure. I don't have Duality, don't have Tenki, and I do not have a Card of Demise. In fact, I don't even remember if Upstart's in this deck list or not. Should probably be in there, truth be told. But, as it stands, I'm kind of okay with this. Just because I'm just going to keep amassing counters. I do get a cheeky little attack boost if I want. To like potentially like just deal extra damage, maybe whatever. But warning, backed up by Deep Fissure. The only thing I'm scared of is Twin Twister, because Deskbots. Alright, so what happens when I warning your Pendulum summon? Do you leave? Because like everybody does that. Literally everybody that I've ever played. Oh, set your scales and pass your turn. You duelists are on the next level. Alright. Well then. Well, what's going to happen here is that this is going to trigger normal summoning this. I'm not going to warning that shit. I'm going to get another counter. This searches. So what I can actually do here is I can search the trap and search... I can search... Since I've already got these two, I can search trap and then search L. So that I can actually just form another defensive layer. Because I literally don't really care about any of the other cards that I could have. A Speedroid Minko. There's the issue at hand. Is that, do I care enough to warning it? I doubt it. I could definitely warning it. Because I'm going to be forming another defensive layer if I'm warning it anyway. So if I'm warning it, then I can get the damage in. Get the searches. Yeah, I'm just going to let it go. It doesn't actually matter. I'm certainly not going to bounce it with combo 1. Like, oh my god, that would be absolutely ridiculous. But what I have here is I just have the rippling, so there's another defensive layer, and these will go back to my hands. I didn't search with this, which is arguably like a misplay, but based off what I see next turn, I could just search something that's better. Like if I draw a Sujik next turn, then I'm gonna argue I'm probably just gonna search 2, and if I search if I draw like Kodam or Card of Demise, this is going to be able to stay loaded up for a search afterwards or something like that. Basically, I just want to see more cards before I actually commit to what I want to search, because I was going to search the trap, and like that's the only card I actually want because these are very relevant being what they are. Machine duplication on Speedroid Minko. Okay. Sure. I guess I'm gonna have to warning the, oh, only one more? Alright, well, this becomes better than I thought it would be. So I guess I'll warning the Gear Gigant if you make that. Yeah. So, I'll warning this. He confirmed Deskbot 9 and shuffled it back, so this doesn't let him get Deskbot 3, so that's good. That's good, that's what we need. We need him to not get his starter cards, because his starter cards are what's gonna end my life. I shouldn't have to deal with another Speedroid Minko. Okay, see duality. Like, I wanted to see more cards. I want to see more cards before I make any sort of decision. Okay, so Sujik, comma 3. Well, these are both searchable off of this because it has counters, so I'm going to search Card of Demise. Seems legitimate, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to activate this, and I'm going to unload 3 counters to add Kodam, because I've got the setup. What I was talking about before is that because I've got a hand like this, I can go normal summon, normal summon, normal summon, and then I can get my all my stuff situated. Tribute this off, put 3 counters on this, and then I can Card of Demise. And if I draw more monsters, then I can just go ahead and banish it and get my monsters out of my hand, so that those go to my hand in the end phase anyway. So that all of this stuff just kind of happens in a cruise. The advantage, you just kind of try to keep everything moving at its own like pace, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna go ahead and attack here because I can't do damage for the rest of the turn if I Card of Demise here. So yeah. So we'll use this, and I'm gonna get a settable. Or do I want to get this, or do I want to get these? I'll get this, just because it leaves those having higher probability in my deck of drawing. Whereas if I got the trap and I Card of Demise, I could Card of Demise into either one of this or one of the trap. Whereas drawing this, I have 2 of the trap left in my deck. So, there's that. So we'll activate this. I'll go ahead and pop this off to put my counters on this. And that goes banished out of play. So that's a problem because it doesn't have synergy with D-Fissure. But, yeah. So see, like, if I didn't have the D-Fissure up, this would go to the grave. Like, this is just an, like, anecdotal slice of evidence where, like, this is, like, one of those situations where it's actually not going to be live because it goes to out of bounds. But, like, if this wasn't here, because this is literally not doing anything for this entire game, but I digress. If this wasn't here, this would have gone to grave, and I could have banished it, summoned this, and then it would bounce to my hand in the end phase, and that would be all hunky-dory and great. But as it stands, and like this is already once per turn, so I've literally diluted the like actual merit that the Card of Demise had. I literally just drew 1 card because these I'm not gonna set it and clog my board up. This I can't summon it, so it's gonna go to grave. While this does allow me to recycle. Oh my god, do I not have auto chain order off? I don't have auto chain order off. Damn it. I thought I had that set as a default, but it turns out I don't. Whoopsies. Well, so that sucks because if you leave auto chain order on, then it automatically does all the actions for you in the end phase, and it structures them opposite of how they're supposed to be, because you're supposed to resolve mandatory effects first in the end phase, and then resolve optionals. Like, you have the option of doing that. But I guess it's fine because I have this for recursion. So I'm literally going to add back (1) from grave, and start trying to get things back. Well, where's my graveyard access? This says from deck or graveyard. Add from your deck or graveyard, mate. Alright, so I'm going to count and see if there's 3 on the board. No, there's not. Oh, it's because they got banished because of D-Fissure. That's fucking right. This D-Fissure is dicking me over. Out of all the things, it's the D-Fissure that's causing me grief. Alright. Well, we'll normal summon this, get more counters. I'm still far from a terrible position because I've got lose a turn plus rippling. This D-Fissure is literally the worst card in the deck. I think I'm just going to cut it for the upstart, because I don't think there's upstart in this deck list. I actually don't think there is, and like that gives you more consistent access into cards like, you guessed it, Card of Demise. I had to remember what it was after I said you guessed it. Why? They do that by themselves. They go back to the hand by themselves. Damn it. I just want to kill you. I want to kill you. I wish to kill you. If you have Deskbot 3, I'm just going to lose a turn. And you're going to lose all your turns. Deskbot base. Yeah, man. More of those. Do it. Oh, he's actually shuffling the Deskbot base back. He's drawing those 2. Alright. Okay. I'm just going to keep throwing my cards into this. I'm going to keep getting more monsters because of what Yosenju Training Ground does. And that's why I think this card is really good, but nobody plays it. It's because it is a little bit slow, but your entire game plan as a Yosenju deck is slow anyway. So, like, you're really not losing anything by playing this card. The only thing this could be is it could be another defensive card, but as it stands, if this was another defensive card, I'd be in a pretty terrible spot because I'd be in one of those situations where like, things would be happening. You can only use that effect to comma 3 once per turn. Alright. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be able to get me a search for secret move at some point. So I'm just going to search more monsters here. So I'm going to go for comma 2, and I'm going to Tenki for that. Or he's going to lose his connection because he realizes that the game is over. So, far from the most entertaining thing in the world, but this will just have to do because I post everything that I film and is usable. And this is far from not usable. So I guess I'll just put this up, and I guess I'll just do another video on this deck a lot sooner than I expected to, although I do want to revisit it and play at least one video in ranked with it. But I digress. This, I guess, is just going to be it. Unfortunately, it's not really the best because he didn't really do anything, and all I did was sit over here and talk theory and, like, dick myself over with this dimensional fusion, which is probably immediately coming out of the deck, honestly, because it actually just doesn't seem like it's the greatest. But, I don't know. More theory has to go into this deck for me on this end, on my end. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. If you want to suggest a deck for me to play, send it to my Facebook fan page. Link to that is in the description. If you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos and disabling ad block when you view them is more than sufficient. I cannot express how much it helps, nor how much I would appreciate it if you could take the time out of your day to do that to help me out. You'd have my thanks for basically eternity. But anyway, as always, guys, that is it for this video. And as per usual, take care, guys.